Okay. All right, Deanna.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Just if you're just logging on, it would be best for everyone if you keep your microphone on mute until you have a question. That will just help connectivity and audio for everyone. I appreciate that. So I am Deanna Parker. You've probably received a couple of emails from me by now. I am the program manager for a couple of different programs. It really just depends on the day or the month, but mainly for our Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans programs. We have a lot of those under that umbrella, SPARK being one of them, which is this program. And then our VWISE program, which is a very long title, Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship. I mean, we wouldn't be an organization that serves the military population if we did not have acronyms ourselves. So I wanted to put that out there. But welcome to SPARK. This program is actually you are in the third cohort of a program that we just started this year. It is a response to two different things. One, COVID-19. Obviously, we couldn't host any in-person programs, and I know some of you were planning on taking the traditional EBV program this year, and obviously we're not able to do it. Some of you started and took phase one. I know we have some people from St. Joseph's University's class that started in the spring and kind of just been waiting to take phase two, and and so I appreciate your flexibility there. These are, I know we've heard this over and over and over again. These are unprecedented times, and we're doing our best to kind of adapt and overcome. And it's an opportunity for us to create new programs and find new ways to train and reach the military veteran community. So with that being said, welcome. I appreciate you all being here. The chat, keep it going. We try to monitor, Sandra and I, as much as we can to answer all of your questions. We will try to save some questions for the end, but please feel free to type them in, and I'll try to keep track of them as much as possible. So this is mainly, today is mainly to orient you into the Blackboard online portal. Some of you may have used it in the past, but it's there. Sandra is going to navigate you through that today. And I'm just going to kind of give you a couple of pointers, and I'm going to be staying on throughout the entire webinar to monitor the chat and help answer questions as well at the end. One thing that this course, that's unique about this course, there's a couple things. One is that we made this course flexible and adaptable as much as we could, while still keeping requirements in order for you to graduate. One of the biggest reasons was we know that people are in this class from all different parts of the country, so time zones are a factor. Some people are completely remote, working from home. Some people are still working full time. Some of you are currently in business and have 2 jobs, or maybe even 3. You have families, and so we're trying to think about all of those things. I appreciate those of you that have logged on for the live session. And so it is very advantageous of you to log into the live sessions if you can, because you're able to ask live questions. However, we do record all of our live sessions, and then we post them right in the Blackboard portal. And they're posted probably within the hour or so after the webinar is finished, so you're able to log in and rewatch or watch for the first time if you weren't able to join us live. Each week, we'll be having one live webinar that will happen either on Wednesday or Thursday. We have a lot of professors that come on, subject matter experts. They're professors in entrepreneurship in different aspects, and a lot of them we found as school has come back have office hours on Wednesdays. And so sometimes we will offer a Wednesday webinar or a Thursday webinar, and I'm working to finalize that schedule. and it will all be posted in Blackboard by the end of this week. And our first live webinar past today is on Wednesday with our very own Dr. Mike Haney. He is the founder and executive director of the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, which is where I work. It is an entity of Syracuse University, and he is also one of the vice chancellors of Syracuse University. He has also been deemed the COVID czar. And so he will force Syracuse and has really been leading the efforts there in bringing all the students back safely and kind of creating a pretty safe community bubble in the Syracuse, on Syracuse University's campus. So you will get to see him live in person on Wednesday. The idea that we've kind of set forth is that what you will see throughout each week are videos. We've posted these these pre-recorded videos for you to watch. And the idea is that you should watch those videos if you can, as much as possible, before the live webinars each week. And the importance being of that is that what we want to make our live webinars is more of a discussion, more of a conversation. So I always have I always have many questions in my hip pocket ready to go for our instructors to start the conversation. But these sessions are really meant for you to have conversations within the group and ask questions. And you'll be able to ask those questions live. So you can just send into the chat saying, I have a question, and I keep a running list of the questions and who wants to speak. And you can ask them live or you can ask them in the chat, and we monitor those. I think Sandra and I do a pretty good job of monitoring those questions, and we usually get through all of them. If you're not able to log into the live sessions, there's also a tab, and we'll go to that once we get to Blackboard. It's called Ask the Expert. And so it's a great way to kind of ask a couple of questions beforehand that we can make sure get asked in the live webinars, so that when you go back and rewatch it, your questions have been answered. You might watch the webinar because you weren't able to attend live, and you realize that produced a question that wasn't answered. Well, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to Sandra or myself, and we'll reach out to the instructors. Sometimes the subject matter experts provide their direct emails, and you can ask them directly. But one thing we want to make sure we do in this class is, number one, get your questions answered. Number two, if we don't know the answer to your question, we'll connect you with someone that does. And so that's what we do. As far as business advice, I'm not the person to go to. Sandra is the person to go to for that, and coursework and questions on that. What I do well is I facilitate a learning environment. So I might not have the answer to your question, but I can put you into contact with 1, 3, 5, 6 people that can answer that for you. And so I like to be able to connect you with resources that will last and hopefully spur on other conversations. So I feel like I have said a lot, but that's why we record these, so you can go back and watch them. But I just kind of wanted to explain how that's all working. And then I will throw it to Sandra here in just a couple of seconds. I just wanted to mention that I know some of you kind of got into the class at the last minute, so to speak. And your welcome packets were sent out today. I know there was one person who didn't receive theirs that I resent some things to today. And you'll receive those by Wednesday via FedEx. If you did not receive your welcome packet, please do me a favor and shoot me an email directly. I'll put my email in the chat. If you kind of tell me here, I try my best to write it down. But it's best to just shoot me an email, because when I get into the office the next day, I can look it up and figure out what's going on. The welcome packet and the items in it are not required to take the course. We just like to give you a couple of things that can be a helpful aid for you. And we like to, excuse me, I like to print off some things. I don't have a printer at my house, believe it or not, and I know some of you probably don't. So wanted to print off the schedule and the syllabus for you as well. And that's also in the welcome packet if you've not yet received it. Again, if you haven't received it, just shoot me an email on that and we'll handle it. All right, so I'm going to hang out. I know some of you will probably have questions after the fact, but I'm going to give it to Sandra because I know we got a lot to go through. Oh, I should also probably intro Sandra a little bit, right? So I know I sent you all her bio, but Sandra Gonzalez has been where you've been, which is pretty awesome. She is a business owner herself. She is a graduate of many of our programs, EBV and VYs, to include a few. She's also attended our Veteran Edge conference. She has been an instructor for our Boots to Business online courses. She's a regular instructor for our VYs course and EBV course in phase 1 online. And she has been the sole instructor so far for our EBV-SPARK class. And she is one, I mean, her business is distance learning. So she knows what she's doing. And one thing that Sandra is I would say is that she doesn't need any recognition for the things that she does. But I really appreciate all the work, Sandra, that you put into this class. We're really excited to have you here. And she will work her hardest to get you to graduate, which is awesome. So I will send it over to you, Sandra.
All right, thanks, Deanna. Okay, can everybody see me? All right, so we're really excited to have you all on board. I know I see a lot of familiar names from previous courses, and I just can't say enough what a pleasure it is to be working with everybody. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. When I started this journey almost 8 years ago, I actually didn't have, I was where many of you are at today, and my venture was just an idea. It was actually a new, e-learning was a new industry for me. I had no experience, and I was really, really nervous about whether or not I should even pursue this path. I was just convinced that I was, choosing the wrong path and that it might lead to bankruptcy for my family, but it didn't work out that way. It was just a huge blessing to be part of the IVMF family, to graduate from EBVF and Boots to Business. And because of these programs, I was able to raise a lot of seed capital to start my educational technology company. So I hope to see a lot of success stories come from this class, and I'm really excited to be working with all of you. So we're going to do a few things today. I'm going to go over the Blackboard Classroom. I'm going to talk about all of the resources available to you. Then we'll talk about the homework assignments and then open it up for questions. All right. So if you're on Blackboard right now, do me a favor and go ahead and log off of it, because if everybody's on there, I won't be able to get on. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and let's start going over all of this stuff. Okay. All right. Deanna, are you able to use the controls and help me out with the other room?
Absolutely.
Okay, super. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is go over all of the course files. So by now you should have all received the syllabus and everything else. All of these files are available to you on the Blackboard Classroom. Let me see if I'm still logged in there. Okay, I just want to make sure I haven't been kicked out. Okay, so I am still on here. Let me get my pen really quick. Okay, just so you can see this. Okay, so all of these files that I'm going to go over are right here under course documents. So once you actually get into the classroom, you should only have one class. Okay, I have several listed. Once you expand the toolbar, you can find everything right here. And I'm not gonna open that up right now. I just want to go straight back to the files. All right, so all of these PDFs right here. The syllabus is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll let you go through that at your own leisure, but it does break it down over the course of the 7 weeks that we're together. And it's going to, basically, we're going to walk you through ideation and then creating value for your venture. So if you're already in business, you can either develop something really targeted if you're trying to expand your markets or scale your operations. And wherever you're at in your venture, I'm going to meet you where you're at and where you want to be. If this is something totally new, don't worry, I'm going to help you, okay? Because I've been where you are all at right now. Okay, so this is the overall syllabus, and it explains everything about this course. What most people usually rely on is the course schedule. So this is a separate file, but it does have the overall breakdown based on each week of what assignments are due and when they're due, okay? So as a general rule of thumb, okay, all of the videos that you're supposed to be watching, they're short. It's not going to take you very long, and it's a lot easier than when we had assigned a lot of readings. Okay, so just be sure to watch those before the webinar for each week. Some of them are going to be on Wednesdays, and I'm not sure when the rest of them will be. It really depends on the schedule for each of the different speakers each week. All right, so you're getting the benefit of having the subject matter experts come to you to your own home. So what a great thing during a pandemic, right? Okay, the rest of the homework assignments, and they really don't take that long. Okay, we've had a lot of students finish them up in just the first week. This feasibility analysis tool, which I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes, as well as the discussion forums. These are mandatory. You do need to get them done, and hopefully you can see this. They are usually due by midnight on Sunday of each week that they're assigned, okay? All right, so hopefully that will answer a lot of questions about all of the homework assignments, okay? And it does break it down by each week, and you'll actually get a break. You'll actually get 2 weeks of a break because there's not a whole lot due during week 5, and you get the entire week of Thanksgiving off, all right? So it'll give you some time to spend with your families and to also decompress from this course, because by the middle of the course, you will be needing a break, all right? It's a lot to keep up with. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the Blackboard guide. So if you have any IT issues and you're not able to get to me or Jim Powers, quickly enough, if we're not answering your questions quick enough, this Blackboard guide is on Blackboard under those course documents, and this is what can help you troubleshoot your questions or your issues so that you can get your answers questioned in a timely manner, okay? All right, so this is going to walk you through step by step. I'm going to be doing the same thing once we get into Blackboard, but just so you know where everything is at, okay, here's where you can find it, all right? So this part I do want to go through because I don't want to log out of Blackboard. Blackboard does tend to work best with either Chrome or Firefox. So if you can make sure you use either of those two browsers, okay, it's just more compatible. They tend to update the software with that, all right? So you should have all received your username and password by now, and if you haven't, just reach out to Deanna. The main thing about logging in, and I hope you can see this, let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so when you do log in, if you haven't done so already, make sure you select this portion here with that says other Blackboard user, because then it's going to take you to a different screen. It should take you right here, and this is where you would put in your email and password, okay? The thing with this is that you will probably need to refresh your browser quite a bit, okay? It is frustrating. I get frustrated with it, but the controls are Shift, Control, and then delete, okay? So if you need to refresh your screen and clear your cookies so that it doesn't keep bringing up the same page, these are the buttons that you would push. Sometimes I'll even type in the wrong password so the computer doesn't think that it's the same page that it's bringing up. Okay, it'll bring up a new page. All right, so these are the most frequent questions that Jim gets, is people not being able to log in, and that's why. It's just a function of Blackboard. It's not always something we have control over. All right, the rest of this is self-explanatory. So I'm just going to scroll through it really quick because a lot of it you're going to see once we actually get into the classroom, all right? The main thing when we do get into the classroom is that you need to expand this left toolbar. If you're not seeing these blue buttons, it's because it's probably buried under here, all right? Okay, let me just go back to this. But if you forget how to do a lot of the things that I'm going to show you, it's under this view and you can find what you need. If you still can't find it, just email me. And if you're still having a lot of problems logging in, be sure to email Jim. And everything, our contact information is usually at the back of this thing, all right? It's either here, okay, on the second to the last page. It's also on the syllabus, okay, on the first page. So you'll always have a way to get a hold of us. All right, let's go to the next one. So we've covered the course schedule. Okay, and then we've also talked about, we've gone over the Blackboard guide really, really quickly. So before I actually get into Blackboard, I know a lot of you have questions about the feasibility analysis tool. Some of you who've already been in our courses, this is probably the second time that you're filling this out. If you need something more challenging, just let me know, and I'm going to have you actually work on the nuts and bolts guide that was developed by Syracuse University. All right, that will help you develop a really specific, targeted either marketing plan, operations, or financing. Okay, whatever it is that you need for your venture at this point in time. All right, so let's talk about the feasibility analysis tool. So over the course of the 7 weeks, we're going to be walking you through a plan basically to see whether or not your concept is viable. And this can be used even if you are trying to scale your business, because this tool can be used for anything, not just business, but any sort of project that you're wanting to find and see if it's viable, because this process is data driven. All right. Okay, so this week you need to complete part 1. The nice thing about part 1 is that there is no right or wrong answer. These are your specific goals for your business, okay? And this is going to be driven by your lifestyle. The majority of you are going to be starting lifestyle businesses, and that's absolutely fine. You don't need to be the next Google, Dropbox, or whatever, although there will probably be a few industry disruptors within the IVMF family, okay? All right, so just list as much as you can, just so you know how to use this. If you do want to use the this tool, the PDF, to be able to write it on it for free, click down here on the comment box, okay? It will bring up this alternate toolbar up here, and if you click on the T for text, you can just start typing away, all right? This is how you can fill it in. So just fill it in with your text. So that's how you do this if you want to use the actual PDF. What I showed you before on the course documents, you can also access the Microsoft Word version of it, which is a lot easier to fill in, okay? And if you're using this and I need to give you specific resources or examples, I'll be able to help you by putting in charts and using all the editing features on here. So either way is correct. Either send in your assignments on Microsoft Word, Excel, or a PDF. I don't accept Pages, Keynote, or any of that stuff, okay? Just because I don't have that software. It's not readily available to me. So this is a feasibility analysis tool. I will be walking you through the homework every week. Okay, so, and I will be giving you specific resources to help you finish the homework. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to Blackboard for a second. There's a few things that I need to show you. As you're filling out the homework assignments, let me go ahead and put these links into the chat room. Let me see if I can find the chat room. Okay, here it is. Okay, I will also put this under the announcements. As we've piloted this course over the past few months, what I found is that people are having trouble filling in the feasibility analysis tool. So these 2 resources that I'm giving you now will give you some sample business plans so that you can understand the expectations for each of the different homework assignments. Find the plans for your industry. Because you are all small businesses, you are competing in more than one industry. So find as many as you can so that you can piece your competitive strategy together. Okay, and I'm going to be helping you with this step by step over the next 7 weeks. So don't let this overwhelm you. And this course is by no means about a business plan, but it is about the business planning process, because it will help set you up to be more successful. Okay, all right, so we'll go over that more later, but these have a lot of great resources, regardless of whether you are a for-profit or a nonprofit entity, and some of you are doing both at the same time, okay? Just choose one or you're gonna get overwhelmed with the homework assignments. The last thing I wanna talk about is the IVMF resource library. Okay, this is your one of the many resources available to you for free. And this is where you can get a lot of your questions answered about every topic related to entrepreneurship. Okay, so this course is only 7 weeks long. It's not supposed to be a mini MBA, but it is supposed to provide you with the foundation so that you can at least get started or move ahead depending on what your goals are, okay? And that's what my role here as your instructor is, to help you figure that out and to provide you with the resources. And Deanna is great about connecting you with resources outside of IVMF with subject matter experts if you should need that, okay? And we have connected students with other people and other students all over the world to help them with their ventures. Okay, so now that we are back into Blackboard, let me go back to the beginning, to the home page. Let me see if I can even get to there. Okay, so after you've logged in, okay, you should see this page. You should only see one course, all right? But EBV-SPARK cohort number 3, you guys are all down here. But before I get to that, I want to go over the global settings. So this toolbar here on your right, the global settings are all on the right. Some of you might not even be able to see that, but just so you know where it's at. If you want to add your profile picture, it's always under settings. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, so that was the wrong button. But if you just click and play around with all the buttons, especially if you've taken an online class, this should be very easy. So under settings, it's under personal information, and then it's under personalize my settings. So I'm going to blow this up so you can see it. It's down here. And I do want to write on this, okay, because some of you are just like, when you watch the replay link, it's easier to see this, okay, especially if you're scrolling through it really quickly. Okay, so once you're under personalize my setting, then go ahead and upload your avatar. I'm going to give you one more resource, because when you upload an image here, it's not going to display correctly, but Canva and other photo editors will allow you to create a design and put in the right dimensions, or your photo is going to look funny. It's going to look like the Muppets, all right? So I'm going to put that right here so you can get to that later. You might even have something free on your computer that will allow you to do that. Okay, so the other things I want to show you on here, again, these are the global settings for all of Blackboard, is the calendar. So you should get reminders of when things are due. Okay, so you have till Sunday. Like, I don't care how late it is. If you are running behind and you can't turn in all of your homework assignments by Sunday, just let me know. Okay, and we will provide accommodations for you. We just want to see you finish the course so that you can get access to the resources after the course and be successful, all right? So if you have any questions about when stuff is due, just go to the calendar, and this will and you can do this on your phone. This will let you know when things are due. And notice how you have an entire week off during Thanksgiving. So that'll give you a nice break to get caught up. All right, let's go back to that home page. So once you're here, okay, I'm going to go into the course. So what you'll find is that every week, Deanna and I are going to update the announcements. So be sure to check that, because I know that when I send out a lot of emails, information gets lost, whereas here you can at least find it. Everything will show up every week. And this is also where I'm going to put all of the replay videos so that you can find them afterwards, and it'll help you finish the homework assignments. Okay, so once this is not collapsed right now, but usually it does collapse. So if you don't see this area here, if you just hover long enough, like here's this arrow. This is what it looks like if you don't see it. And if you just move your cursor around until this arrow shows up, it'll expand the toolbar, and you can go to each week and find all of your assignments, okay? So we are on week 1. Just be sure that you sign into the discussion forums. The first one is right here under the I Made It forum, okay? So just click on that, or click here under discussions, and you'll be able to get to all of the discussion forums really easily. This one is the easiest over here. If you have a question for me or for any of the subject matter experts that are going to be coming up, use the Ask the Expert forum, okay, and post your question. The only caveat to this is if you are applying for a patent, a trade secret, just don't share that kind of information with us, all right? But everything else, if you have something that you want to share and you'd also like feedback from either me, one of the subject matter experts, or from your classmates, post it to either this forum. Okay, this is the only one that I'm really going to answer. You also have one for your classmates. So if you're trying to connect with people from California or your state or in the same industry, this is the place where you're going to ask that. Okay, so while we're here, let me go ahead and show you how to create a thread, all right? As you're doing the homework assignments, make sure you create your own separate discussion, because otherwise it won't show up in my grade book and I won't be able to give you credit. And just as a reminder, this is not an academic course. I'm going to give you credit for everything you turn in, unless you just put turn in the wrong assignment, and then I'm going to ask you to resend me the correct assignment, and then I'm going to give you feedback. Do your best, turn things in on time. Towards the middle, actually by next week, when people start getting behind, it gets harder for me to keep up. You're less likely to get the kind of feedback that you're looking for, okay? So just get things to me in time, or let me know that you're running behind, so I know to expect your stuff. So once you have selected that create a thread, be sure to put a subject, some catchy title, especially if you're trying to find other people in your industry. Then type in, oops, right here. Okay, then fill in your content in here and be sure to click submit. So if you don't click the blue button and you just click save draft, I won't see it in my grade book, okay? So this has happened to students in the past, and it's happened for like several weeks. I couldn't find their stuff and I've emailed them, and it was because they clicked the wrong button. So if you're not ready to send it in, save the draft, but once you're ready, make sure you click on the blue button, okay? All right, so that's easy enough. Most of you have already taken an online course. If you haven't and you don't know how to do this, please reach out to me right away, okay? We'll figure out alternate ways to get your homework submitted. All right, so let's go back to week one. So here's the feasibility analysis tool. You can also get it again. I know I've already said this, but there's a lot of information we're giving you. It's also under the course documents. Once you finish it, be sure to upload it down here. All of the assignments are down at the bottom of the page, okay? So once you click on the actual assignment, then you can upload it here. If you have any comments, just type it here. And then again, don't forget to click on the blue submit button, all right? Okay, let me just show you a few more things. The fastest way to get to all of the discussions is just to select that button here. I wouldn't worry too much about this, but if someone does reply to you specifically, you'll see that number in here, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to keep in touch with your classmates, all right? There's a button here. Very good. I'm so glad to see that many of you have already logged in and started introducing yourselves. Somewhere on here is where you can actually control the notifications for the discussion forums, because I don't encourage you to subscribe to an entire forum. So let me see, your screen is going to be different from mine. So once you're in the forum, there's ways to subscribe to there's ways to subscribe to an individual thread or the entire forum. Don't subscribe to an entire forum, because then it will clog up your email box. You won't be able to get anything else. All right, let me go ahead and click on this. So if you want to subscribe, this is for the entire forum right here. I would just do it from the individual forums down there, okay? I don't want to spend too much time on this one page. The other thing I want to talk about, okay, it's also under here where you can control the settings under the discussion forums. Here it is. It's under edit notification. Okay, you might not have this one. And sometimes this changes, and I'm not familiar with it. Just play with the buttons. I'm going to have to get you this information later, because it used to be in one spot and now it's in a different spot. There's a different way to control what kind of notifications you get for these different discussion forums, and I'm going to have to get back to you on that. All right. Okay. So for the most part, we've covered everything in the Blackboard classroom. Are there any questions in the discussion forums so far that I need to answer, Deanna?
No, anything that has been asked so far, I've been able to answer.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm just taking care of it and making note. I'll make note of anything I can't answer, and we'll ask it at the end.
Okay, super. Okay, as we move further along in the course, what I want you to look at is my grades. Okay, so as of right now, you're not going to see anything on here, but as I start getting you back your assignments, then you should be able to track your own progress right here. So there's a total of, is it one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Some of these are really short, and two of these are a little bit more difficult. So the feasibility analysis tool, there's a bunch of different sections. What I'm going to do during the middle of the course is schedule my own set of office hours to answer your questions about this part here, the economics of your business, as well as this PDF. If you go to it, it's a really long PDF, but it's the customer journey map. They're both great assignments, but some of them you may not be able to do right now, and some of it you may not even apply to your business. So just be on the lookout for that announcement, and don't get frustrated with those two assignments, okay? I'm going to help you with that. And I'll talk about that more later, just because I don't want to overwhelm you with so much information. This really is more of an overview about how to use Blackboard, a little bit about the assignments themselves, and just any overall questions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. What questions do you have for me right now?
So I've heard there's been two people so far, and it is okay, Sandra, just so you know, that feel a little overwhelmed at this point because there's been a lot of information shared, and that is okay. Like any class, it happened to me every single class, and even still now when I take a class at the first day, especially an online class, trying to navigate everything, seeing everything that I have to do. The feasibility analysis in its entirety is a beast, right? But that's why we've broken it up step by step, working through it piece by piece. It builds off each other, and we are here to help you. Let me tell you what, I can't even tell you how many times Sandra has done one-on-one calls with people in these class. She is worth her weight in gold. She cares about you. And I am willing to do the same. If it is strictly, if it's more about your business, that would be for Sandra. If it is more about navigating through the website, I'm happy to help Sandra in that regard, and do a one-on-one session with you to try to get you through it. So just, if you're having a lot of technical difficulties, just shoot us an email, and we can connect with you, and help you one-on-one. What I would suggest is what you do when you get done here, or tomorrow, is log into Blackboard if you haven't done it yet. Try it out, make sure your login information works. Then open up the Blackboard guide that I sent it to you in your email with your login information. It's also on Blackboard in course documents, but pull that up from the email and just start walking through it step by step, seeing if you can go to each different area that's talked about, and just work through it that way. And then, like I said, happy to jump on a one-on-one call to go through it. But I'd highly suggest, and then this is going to be recorded, or it is recorded, so you can go back and rewatch as Sandra. You can press pause, do one thing that she's talking about, that's why we record it. Sorry, I went on and on. I am looking, I even see other people are volunteering to help each other out. So that's awesome. Alan, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Any other questions? Sorry. If you have a question, you could unmute yourself and ask it live, or you can ask it right here in the chat. There are no stupid questions. All right. Well, that's one thing I put in our, whether it's about this, whether it's in our live sessions with subject matter experts, no question, any question is up for grabs. What did James say? James said, I recommend just jumping into Blackboard, click here and there just to know where the home button is. He's jealous of Alan. I agree, James. I think that's a great idea. Just, just go in, dive in, and then just start looking through. So another question is, how do we know that you've watched the videos that we've uploaded? So that's a great question. That is actually, it's only beneficial to you to watch them. So really, we can't go through and see that you've watched that video, but that video is helpful to you and it prepares you to be better ready for the discussion that's going to happen with the live subject matter expert. So you're going to get out of this course what you put into this course. If you put your time and effort into trying to do everything that we have available to you, you're going to get a lot out of it. If you put minimal effort into it, you're going to get a minimal return. And that's really how this course works. All right, so we've got a question, Sandra, from James in the chat. Feasibility, meaning my business can survive or can make something. So the answer to that would be yes. You're testing your business or your business idea to see if it's viable, to see if you can if people really actually need the product that you want to have. If you do have a funding plan that is right. So you have this, so it's for both people, if you've just started your business or you're in a business idea, it's really testing that business or business idea. Looks like we have another question. Great. The questions are just rolling in. I'm having trouble with my mouse scrolling through. Will there be any funding? Was that a question on funding? Man, you guys are going crazy in the chat. I can't keep up with it. Will there be any funding resources as a reward for finishing this course? So that's a great question. Although we can't monetarily give you money, I will say that as a graduate of this course, you will be connected you will be part of the IVMF alumni family. And you will learn about funding. Actually, financing is near the end of this. And we talk about all the different avenues to finance your business. We talk about different things that we talk about different things that are out there strictly for veteran, military spouse owned businesses. We talk about, special loans, special a couple of other things, grants, anything that's out there. So we will guide you to the funding sources, but we cannot provide you a funding reward, so to speak. All right, what else? Okay, so we got another one here. Eric. I moved to Texas from where I first got my ideas from for my business. So the market is different, which will alternate my customer market. Do you have resources to help with market research in my new area of operation? Yes. Yes, we do. That is the key answer. Shoot me an email, Eric, and I can get you connected. That's the best way. And if you did not want me to ask that, I realized you asked me that privately, so I apologize that I just said that to the group. Sandra, do you see any more? I know we have a couple more.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I'm having trouble keeping up. Before I forget, Kelly, thank you for mentioning the MBA book. I forgot to talk about that. So let me go to the MBA book. So there's one assignment in this book. It is chapter 3. Okay, it is optional, but the book itself is great. So just go through it if you have time and do the one discussion. And it's either like week 3 or week 4. and go ahead and answer that if you can. All right. Otherwise, hold on to the book. It'll answer a lot of your questions about every aspect of entrepreneurship. Okay. I'm really glad that they got this book for you all. It's just going to add a lot to basically to the development of your venture, no matter where you're at with this. Okay, there's all of a sudden there's a lot of questions.
That's okay. Sandra, is it wise to work ahead, or have past students gotten more out of this course by working week by week?
Okay, yes, no, and yes. So yes, it is wise to work ahead because a lot of students get behind by like week 2, and then I get behind because there's a backlog of assignments. Even if you work ahead, that's fine. I'm only going to give you feedback on the week that we're at because I have to meet the needs of 40 other students in this course, okay? So even if you turn in the entire feasibility analysis tool to me by tomorrow, I'm only going to grade up to week 1. I'm going to send you that feedback. I want you to keep checking in every single week, going into the discussion forums, listening to the subject matter experts, and providing feedback to your classmates in the discussion forums, because you'll find that you've missed something and then you're going to want to add it to your feasibility analysis tool, okay? That is the value of this course. It's the networking, it's the learning from your peers, as well as learning from the subject matter experts. This is just, if you've been through Boots to Business, this is the upgraded version of it. I wish that they had had this when I went through the Boots to Business years ago, but I had a great instructor. I went thousands of dollars in seed capital because of these courses, and I'm hoping that you all do just as well, all right? So even if you work early and finish early, stay with the course as much as possible. Okay, like all of a sudden there's a lot of
that's okay. I'm plugging through them here.
Okay.
Christy talked about a LinkedIn badge. You know what? That has never been a request before. I think that's something we can do. Let me look into that. I just made a note of it. I'm going to talk to our alumni services team. One thing you will get access to as a graduate of this program, if you don't have it already, is LinkedIn Premium. You'll get a year free. So that's pretty awesome. So you'll get that once you become a graduate of the program, and we'll tell you how to get that in week 7. So let me get back to you on that, Christy, who asked about the LinkedIn badge. I think that's an awesome idea. So I will get back to you. I made note of that. I will look into that tomorrow.
Talk about the certificate, Deanna.
What was that?
Talk about the certificate of completion.
So you will get, at the end of the course, you'll get an official certificate of completion. We unfortunately aren't doing any type of continuing education credits yet. This is something that takes a while to be evaluated by the university as far as the curriculum to see how many credits it's worth. As of right now, unfortunately, Syracuse, because of all things COVID-19, is very backed up on everything. And Syracuse makes the determination, not IVMF. So what we do offer you is a certificate of completion. We send that to you. That is signed by Dr. Haney, our director, Misty. And it comes in a really awesome SU diploma cover. Because as a graduate of IVMF, you are also a graduate of Syracuse University, and you will be treated as alumni of Syracuse University, which is pretty awesome. And you'll get that sent in the mail. We can provide you a digital copy as well, but I like getting a cool diploma in the mail. So let's see, what other questions do we got? I'm scrolling through them. I don't want to miss them. This is awesome. This is probably the most questions we've had in an orientation. This is great. You are not afraid to ask them, and that's good. What if we are using several pivoting ideas? Do we just focus one for this purpose of this course? What would your advice be on that, Sandra?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the question is, if we're using several pivoting ideas for their business, should they focus on just one for the purpose of this course? Or how would you advise to approach that?
Why don't you, was that Niyurka? Why don't you get with me when you start researching the size of your market based on census.gov and all of the other resources out there? Type in sizeup.com. That will kind of give you an idea of whether or not that's a good concept to try right now. Okay, because if the market's too small, is it really worth Is it really worth pursuing? Or is like starting a new restaurant, do you really want to do that right now during a pandemic? Or do you want to start a food truck or something more mobile? Okay. That's a question I'm really happy to answer one-on-one, like either on Zoom, or if we set up a small group call, like if some, I know some of you already know each other, I can do it that way. Sometimes people are more comfortable doing it in a group.
Kelly, send me an email. We'll connect separately, and we'll get you confident in how to navigate through this online course. So do not worry. We are here for you, and we will make sure that you graduate, and it will not be because the reason for you not graduating will not be because you can't navigate through the online course. Online courses can be a beast when you're first trying to take one, especially if you're navigating a new platform. But have no fear, we are here to help you. And we will make sure that we're with you every step of the way. Just send me an email. It just helps remind me because I get a lot of requests throughout these webinars. So if you just send me an email, then we can connect one-on-one. Another question was, so there any investors, angel investors, VCs in this group scouting? So specifically, no, but we do have a few subject matter experts that are investors. So are they in this specifically looking for businesses to invest in? No, they are here specifically to invest in you, so to speak, and help you get where you need to be in your business via advice and connections and resources. However, not to say that that's out of the question, but for the most part, they are not here scouting businesses to invest in.
Deanna, there's a question about whether or not they can get access to industry reports. Is that still available?
So that is something. So one thing that we're looking at right now, this is one thing, James, I appreciate you asking that question because this is something we've been noticing a need of in our SPARK, in particular SPARK classes. A lot of you were supposed to have already taken your phase 2 EBV class, right? Nod your head or raise your hand if that was you, right? You were supposed to have already taken your phase 2. And after phase 2, you have access to a portal that has those industry reports. However, the only reason that you were not able to take phase 2 was because of something that was completely out of your control. And ours was COVID-19. So right now we are really working to make some of those things available to you. And James, I don't have an answer for you yet, but I guarantee you I'll have an answer for you in a couple of weeks or less. We are really working hard to see what more we can offer all of you. There's some holes we have to jump through. Hoops, not holes, hoops. Hoops. We don't jump through holes. We jump down holes. We jump through hoops. So a couple hoops we have to jump through, but really working to try to make those available.
I think too, because of the pandemic, some of the libraries have expanded their database offerings. You might be able to get it from a regular library, but definitely through a university library, just tell them, I don't know, just tell them you need access to the report. Sometimes they have a free section for the general public, and they'll still let you in, and they may give you access to those databases, and hopefully you'll be able to print them out. That's an excellent question. I'm glad somebody asked that.
Question was asked is, they didn't do phase 2 yet. Should I delay SPARK for now till they call us to get started? No, you should do SPARK now. Phase 2 builds off this. So this will only put you in a better position. And, obviously the world is so, I guess you could say up in the air right now, right? As far as what residency programs are going to look like in the future. And although, information changes almost on the daily, and things change from state to state. So there could be programs that run in certain states that don't run in others. So I would say don't delay. If you're in this class, you're in this class. This is a good class for you to be in. It's only going to build from here. You might find that there are a couple of things information that you don't really need, but I think you're going to find that that most of the information is going to be useful. And if nothing else, the live webinars with the subject matter experts will be worth their weight in gold. So stay with us. Let's see. Will the Boots to Business class help? Sandra, what is your opinion on that?
I found it to be very helpful. It really depends on what you're using it for. Some people do want a business plan, and that is a specific focus of that course. They used to, back when I was an instructor for it, it was an 8-week online course like what we're doing now, and you got feedback. So if you do that course, just take your homework assignments to your local business counselor or a trusted mentor and have them go through it with you, okay? Some of you may be using it to either raise seed capital or to just test the feasibility of your concept, and it's best to have that feedback.
A feasibility analysis is great if you don't have a business plan. It's super useful because you're really testing your idea and if it's going to be viable. And a business plan obviously is needed, and a feasibility analysis will help you build your business plan too. So it really does help you think about it more critically. You know, when we have an idea, especially me, I hold my ideas very personal to myself, and I'm not super critical of my ideas because they're my ideas and they're the best ideas that were ever created, right? So when you work through this feasibility analysis, it really helps you think about your ideas more critically. And are they really a business, right? Is this really a business? And it's really good for pivoting too. So I'm glad that there's some people in here, you know, having some pivoting ideas, because you can use this feasibility analysis to test those pivoting ideas as well. Sandra, I want to get my company off the ground. Does the sensation of doing it all now dissipate or come down a notch?
James, you might be the type that really likes to go, go, go. So that's awesome. Keep it up. There will be times when you just feel like everything's going downhill, but remember that's preparing you to go back up. Yeah, and surround yourself with your classmates who are going to cheer you on. I'm sure at this point, everyone's experiencing a lot of anxiety. Just remember, you're going to hear this from Dr. Haney on Wednesday. These, like the pandemic or a recession, these are almost the best times to start a new business because there's new opportunities. And you'll see that a lot of companies who started during a downturn have been very successful. You just learn to be very lean early on, and it creates great habits that will set you up for success. So yes, James, it is a very good, energizing anxiety. I hope you turn on your webcam for Wednesday so we can actually get to meet you. And I'm really excited that there's so much energy in this group. It's going to motivate you to all keep going. All right. I want to encourage you to, as this moves along, to get to know each other in the forums, to set up your own little private Facebook groups. That's what you would have done had you gone to EBV. All right. And it'll give you a really good way to stay connected. Yes, Harley Davidson is a great example. Perfect. Good job, Eric.
I know, that's a great example. You know, also pivoting, we were looking at some pivoting companies. I don't know if any of you, Nokia used to be a galoshes company, right? And they obviously pivoted. It is crazy. That's just one. Instagram used to be a dating app. You know, just crazy things that so, you know, a lot, and we found that a lot of our actually current, I would say, graduates have come back to us needing resources because they want to pivot their business during this time. You know, we've had many businesses. We had a guy who was making a distillery. Obviously, we had a couple distillery graduates who then pivoted their business to making hand sanitizer during this time. You know, just something, it sounds simple and easy, but, you know, it was a pretty big pivot for them to have to move to that. So we've had some people, you know, completely pivoting to completely different businesses, but using kind of the same business models that they've created. So we're here to help now that you're with us. And I don't want you to shy away. I know it can be very, like I said, very overwhelming. First day of class is always overwhelming, looking at everything that has to be done, but we are here to help you. You are in the right place. And if you get to a point where you realize that this really isn't maybe the best thing for you at this time, then we're here to help you find out what is. We have programs, as Sandra said, that meet you where you are on your entrepreneurship journey, whether that be strictly a business idea or even, I don't even have a business idea. I'm trying to figure out, Sandra's worked one-on-one with people through that too. So we have programs for you after you've launched and what to do. We have programs for you after you've been in business a year and you're looking to grow. We have pivoting programs, and we have major growth programs for people with 5 employees or more. So we are here. And if there's an area we're missing, then we fill it with something. So we are here to help you through everything. We want to see, we've been pushing, 75-80%, close to 75-80% graduation rate on this online course. We want you to graduate. We're here to work through it. We want you to learn. We want you to get connected. So now you're with us. You're part of our family now, and you can't ever get out of it. So unless you unsubscribe from our newsletter, that's about the only way. But have graduates ever gotten personally connected or paired with successful industry mentor? Yes, many. We have some official programs as an alumni of IVMF. We also have some unofficial mentorship that's happened. Some of it has been, like I said, officially matched. Some of it just organically happens. So yes, absolutely, that's happened, Spencer. Sales and marketing, are we going to talk about that? Absolutely. We talk about that in week 3, I believe. So we talk about both sales and marketing. You'll see that in the course schedule. 1 week is sales, another week is marketing. I think marketing comes before sales, I believe. So that's it. I think we got all the questions so far.
Yeah, these are all great questions. Don't let this course stress you out. I was trying not to give you too much information all at once. Please reach out to me and I will walk you through everything step by step to include how to use Blackboard, especially if you need accommodations, okay? We'll figure out a way to do that. I'm actually a registered nurse and my specialty is teaching people with disabilities. That is where my heart is. That's why I started my company and that's why I love working with IVMF. So please, there's no stupid question. I don't mind doing this at all. All right. I enjoy it. So if you need help with anything, email me, all right, and we will set up a Zoom session or whatever works best for you guys. Deanna, do you have anything? Anybody have anything before we close out? Because I'm going to turn it over to Deanna.
Absolutely, same here. I'm here. I just put my email in the chat again, but you all should have received an email from me. Just a reminder, if you haven't received your welcome packet and you didn't, I sent 3 out today. So even if you haven't received it and you're pretty sure it's on the way, just send me an email. I can double check. If you still haven't received your login information, you should have received it. I can resend you the email. Absolutely, shoot me an email. Those of you that need some extra help navigating Blackboard, that is fine. We will help you however we can. Reach out. So basically just reach out to us for anything. I mean, I can't make your lunch every day, but we could have lunch over a meeting. So we could eat lunch together virtually. But anyways, we're here to help you. We're very excited. And we gave you an entire week off for Thanksgiving. That was more so because I wanted a week off. So that's purely selfish. But you're going to have more questions, especially if you go back and rewatch this. That's fine. Just shoot us an email with your questions. We're here for you. Very excited, very honored to be here. I don't know if I don't think I said it before. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I started working at IVMF because I wanted to give back. I have military in my family who sacrificed. I was in for 4 years. I did my deployments, and now I want to be an advocate for veterans. Sometimes as veterans, we're not the best advocate for ourselves. We always think that someone else deserves the benefits and not us. So I'm here to help you, guide you, and serve you, and very excited to do that. And that's what IVMF does. So thank you all for joining us tonight for a little over an hour of your time. I will see you live again Wednesday at 6. You'll get a reminder email from Sandra with the link, but the link is posted in Blackboard. And I look forward to seeing you all again on Wednesday.